This is not just another viral moment. This is a full-blown internet case study of how fast fame can explode, spiral, and come crashing down. One sentence, one night, one camera pointed the right way, and everything changed. What started as a joke turned into merch, celebrity shoutouts, a podcast, brand deals, crypto chaos, and backlash so intense it forced a complete disappearance. And who the hell is Pooky? Well, let's find out and Hawk Tuah into it. Sorry to interrupt, but if the Hawk Tuah Girl went from viral meme to hosting a podcast, you can go from viewer to subscriber, right? Ah, thanks. Before the fame. Let's rewind to before the fame. Hailey Welch's roots in rural Tennessee paint a picture of a grounded, hardworking life far from the glitz of viral stardom. Born around 2003, Hailey grew up in Belfast, a tiny town with just over 600 residents, nestled amid horse farms and rolling hills in Marshall County. It's the kind of place where everyone knows everyone, and life moves at a slower pace. No big city hustle, just community and simplicity. Family dynamics played a big role in shaping her. Hailey was raised primarily by her paternal grandmother after her mother, Jessie Welch, left early in her life. Her father, Mike Welch, has been thrust into the spotlight indirectly through her fame, but details remain sparse. He's described in passing as supportive. She has at least one sibling, a sister named Hannah, and mentions of growing up with two older siblings in some reports suggest a close-knit but challenging household. In a heartbreaking confession on a 2024 podcast, Hailey opened up about her troubled childhood, hinting at emotional hardships that built her resilience and unfiltered personality. Before the Hawk Tuah moment, Hailey worked at a bed spring factory, assembling mattress parts in a blue-collar job that paid minimum wage. She was a college dropout, focusing on survival rather than social media dreams. In fact, pre-fame, she had no Instagram, TikTok, or even Facebook, as revealed in interviews. Local vibes? Think quiet nights with friends, no spotlight chasing. Just an ordinary girl. In her first major interview on the Brianna Chicken Fry podcast in July 2024, Hailey described her normal life as just a regular girl from Tennessee, working 9 to 5, hanging with family. She echoed this in a People exclusive that September, sharing how the factory grind taught her grit. On Bill Maher's Club Random podcast in late July, she laughed about small-town boredom driving her Nashville outings. These chats reveal a relatable Southern girl, authentic, family-oriented, and unprepared for the chaos ahead. It all started on a lively June night in 2024 during Nashville's CMA Fest, a massive country music celebration drawing crowds for concerts, parties, and street vibes. Hailey Welch, out with friends for a fun escape from her factory job, was wandering Broadway Street, the heart of Nashville's honky-tonk scene. She was tipsy, carefree, and chatting with pals when Tim Dickerson and Darius Marlowe, the duo behind Tim and D TV, approached for a man-on-the-street interview. Tim and D specialize in risque, unfiltered Q&A at nightlife spots, asking bold questions to capture raw reactions. That night, they hit Hailey with, "What's one move in bed that makes a man go crazy every time?" Her response, "You gotta give him that Hawk Tuah and spit on that thing," delivered with a thick accent and infectious laugh.
What's one move in bed that makes a man go crazy every time?
Oh, you gotta give him that Hawk Tuah and spit on that thing, you get me?
Was gold. They posted the clip on TikTok and Instagram on June 11th, 2024, and it exploded. Initial reactions? Hailey was embarrassed to death, as she told people in September 2024, hiding under covers when friends called. Her parents were shocked. Her dad reportedly said, "What the hell?" But the internet loved it. Within days, views skyrocketed. The original TikTok hit over 10 million plays, with YouTube reposts adding millions more. Shares went viral globally, spawning memes like remixes with celebrities, animal edits, and merchandise mocks. Early memes flooded platforms. Hawk Tuah on everything from golf swings to cooking fails. TikTok analytics show billions in related views by mid-2024. In her July 2024 Plan Brie podcast interview, Hailey recounted the night. We were just out having fun. No idea it'd blow up. Tim and Dee later shared in a July New York Times piece how the video's authenticity fueled its spread, though tensions arose when Hailey didn't credit them much. This spontaneous moment turned a small-town night out into internet history. Navigating fame. By early July, Hailey signed with The Penthouse, a firm specializing in talent representation. Confirmed by TMZ on July 2nd, they became her reps, helping navigate the chaos. Her manager, Johnny Forster, later told The Hollywood Reporter they turned down gigs like American Idol and OnlyFans to focus on authentic opportunities. Then came the merch boom. Partnering with Fathead Threads, she launched Hawk Tuah 24 hats in 14 colors at $32.78 each. By June 26th, they'd sold about 2,000 units, raking in at least $65,000 in the first week. Rolling Stone reported the hats sold out fast, with fans clamoring for more. Revenue estimates for merch and early endorsements hit tens of thousands quickly, as per business reports and her statements. A Facebook post even claimed $500,000 total by July, though most sources stick to the initial $65,000 surge. Fan reactions? Electric. Social media exploded with praise, finally capitalizing on the meme, and memes incorporating the hats. Some criticized the quick cash-in, but the hype was undeniable, boosting her followers to millions. This foundation set the stage for bigger things, proving viral fame could turn into real bank. Media Blitz. Hailey's post-viral month was a whirlwind of spotlights. Starting June 11th with the Tim and Dee TV clip, fame snowballed. By mid-June, she quit her job and prepped for the big leagues. Late June, merch dropped on June 26th, hitting $65,000 sales amid buzz. Shaq gave an early celeb nod, posting a throwback photo referencing Hawk Tuah on Instagram, sparking crossover hype. July kicked off strong. On July 2nd, she signed with the Penthouse management, opening doors to deals. Mid-July, first major interview on Barstool's plan, Brie Uncut with Brianna Chickenfree, squashing rumors like being a fired teacher. She laughed off the chaos, sharing her small-town shock. Rumors of $30,000 paid gigs surfaced, including NYC appearances appeared by early July. By late July, she was on stage with Zach Bryan in Nashville. A surprise collab that thrilled country fans. Brand deals trickled in, endorsements tied to merch, plus paid events. Timeline highlights: from viral drop to management sign in weeks, then podcasts and collabs. Celeb ties like Shaq's shoutout and Zach's stage moment amplified her. Media painted her as relatable, but the Blitz foreshadowed overexposure. Revenue? Early estimates from appearances hit $20,000 plus per gig per Daily Mail. This first-month frenzy turned a meme into a brand. Starting Talk Tuah. From meme to microphone. By late summer 2024, Hailey Welch made a bold move to prove she wasn't just a one-line punchline. Enter Talk Tuah, her podcast debut that launched in August 2024, riding the wave of her viral fame but aiming for something longer lasting. Instead of leaning fully into shock value, the show mixed raunchy humor with surprisingly candid conversations about internet fame, class, and sudden visibility. Early episodes featured comedians, TikTok creators, Barstool-adjacent personalities, and nightlife influencers. People fluent in virality but also in burnout. Topics ranged from dating in the public eye to cancel culture, money mismanagement, and how fast the internet builds and breaks its stars. The tone was loose, southern, and self-aware. Hailey often joked that she was just figuring it out in real time, which became part of the show's appeal. Listener numbers were strong out of the gate. While exact figures were never publicly audited, podcast tracking platforms estimated hundreds of thousands of downloads within the first month, with clips regularly pulling millions of views on TikTok and Instagram Reels. Several moments went viral, especially when Hailey addressed rumors directly or poked fun at her own lack of media training. Crucially, Talk Tuah repositioned her. Media outlets stopped calling her just the Hawk Tuah Girl and started referring to her as a creator and host. Sponsors dipped their toes in cautiously, and fans who initially tuned in for laughs stayed for the authenticity. It wasn't a reinvention, but it was a signal. Hailey wasn't disappearing quietly. She was trying to evolve. From party clip to relatable chaos. As Talk Tuah gained traction, Hailey's public image began to shift, intentionally or not. The viral clip painted her as a wild, carefree party girl. The podcast revealed something more layered, awkward, overwhelmed, occasionally defensive, but often reflective. Fans noticed the difference immediately. Comment sections filled with reactions like, "She's actually way more normal than I expected," and "You can tell she didn't plan any of this." Short-form clips showing Hailey discussing anxiety, money pressure, or being judged by strangers routinely outperform purely comedic moments. Relatability, not shock, became the algorithm's sweet spot. That said, controversy never fully left the chat. Some listeners criticized the podcast's explicit content, arguing that continuing sexual humor reinforced the very stereotype she claimed to be moving past. Others accused her of being unprepared or inarticulate, while defenders pushed back, pointing out she was never marketed as polished, just real. One minor backlash moment came when an episode joke about getting famous for nothing rubbed creators the wrong way, sparking debate about privilege versus luck in viral culture. Hailey addressed it directly the following week, admitting she didn't have the language yet to talk about fame responsibly. That transparency helped cool tensions. Visually, her branding softened too. Less bar crawl energy, more sit-down conversations. Fewer shock captions, more self-deprecation. The shift wasn't seamless, but it was noticeable. And it marked the beginning of Hailey trying to control the narrative instead of being swallowed by it. With visibility came curiosity, especially about Hailey's love life. Almost immediately after going viral, fans began speculating. Was she single? Dating? Newly rich and wild? Early interviews hinted at a long-term partner, but Hailey kept details deliberately vague. She referenced having someone back home who'd known her before the fame, someone who wasn't impressed by follower counts or podcast downloads. Fans quickly nicknamed this mystery figure Pooky, based on offhand comments and inside jokes dropped during podcast episodes. The lack of confirmation only fueled obsession. Internet sleuths tried piecing together clues, blurred reflections, background voices, deleted comments, but Hailey drew a firm line. In multiple interviews, she said fame made her more protective, not more open. "Some things don't belong to the internet," she said, noting that sudden attention had already cost her a sense of normalcy. This restraint stood out in influencer culture, where relationships are often content. Fans were split. Some praised her boundaries, while others accused her of hiding a boyfriend to maintain marketability. The speculation itself became a lesson in how quickly the internet feels entitled to personal access. Ultimately, the mystery reinforced a broader theme in Hailey's story. Viral fame doesn't just change your career. It reshapes your relationships, your privacy, and how much of yourself you're willing to give away. And for Hailey Welch, holding something back may have been the only control she had left. Pooky, the boyfriend reveal. For months, Pooky existed only as a rumor. A name dropped casually, never explained. Fans speculated wildly, but Hailey Welch stayed tight-lipped. Then, on November 12th, 2024, she finally pulled back the curtain. During a high-profile episode of Talk Tuah featuring Jake Paul, Hailey casually revealed that Pooky was real and had been there long before the fame. His name, Kelby Blackwell, her boyfriend of roughly 3 years as of 2024. The reveal wasn't staged with dramatic music or a flashy Instagram post. Instead, it landed mid-conversation, almost accidentally. True to Hailey's style. She explained that Kelby was from Tennessee, part of her pre-viral life, someone who knew her as a factory worker, not a meme. Their relationship began quietly, likely through shared hometown circles, and stayed private by design. No couple content, no soft launches, just normalcy. Hailey joked that Kelby does not care about the internet at all, sharing stories of him avoiding cameras and rolling his eyes at influencer culture. Jake Paul's reaction mirrored the audience's, half shocked, half amused. Cracks beneath the viral glow. By late summer and early fall of 2024, subtle warning signs began to surface beneath Hailey Welch's whirlwind success. What looked like momentum on the outside increasingly resembled overextension behind the scenes. The speed of her rise left little room for strategy, and the internet rarely waits for anyone to catch up. One early red flag was rapid team turnover. While she initially signed with the Penthouse management in July 2024, industry insiders noted shifting advisors, unclear branding direction, and mixed messaging about long-term goals. One week she was turning down OnlyFans to protect her image. The next, she was leaning back into explicit humor to satisfy audience demand. That tug of war hinted at a creator still figuring out who was steering the ship. Fan fatigue also crept in faster than expected. By September, comment sections reflected a noticeable shift. Where early fans celebrated her authenticity, some began expressing burnout. Viral fame thrives on novelty, and Hailey's identity was still tethered to a single phrase, no matter how hard she worked to expand beyond it. Financial speculation added pressure. Inflated reports of six-figure earnings and $30,000 appearances created unrealistic expectations, both from fans and from Hailey herself. Combined with constant travel, non-stop interviews, and the demands of running a podcast, the pace was unsustainable. In hindsight, these weren't scandals, just stress fractures. But they foreshadowed what would come later: burnout, misjudged opportunities, and decisions made too quickly under the glare of internet fame. The warning signs were there early. The problem was that everything was happening too fast for anyone to slow down and read them. Entering crypto, the Hawk Tuah meme coin gamble. By mid to late 2024, Hailey Welch stepped into one of the internet's most volatile arenas, crypto. Riding the still massive recognition of her viral phrase, she became associated with the launch of a meme coin branded around her catchphrase. Hawk, often referred to online as the Hawk Tuah coin. At the time, meme coins were booming again, fueled by influencer hype and retail investors chasing the next Dogecoin-style breakout. The pitch was simple and dangerously familiar. Cultural relevance plus internet virality equals fast gains. Promotional posts framed the coin as community-driven, playful, and for the fans, with language emphasizing fun rather than finance. Hailey's role, while later disputed, was highly visible. She promoted the coin across social media, shared excitement about the launch, and appeared in content that many interpreted as endorsement. Within hours of release, SHAWK surged dramatically. Early trackers showed a rapid spike in market cap as buyers piled in, driven largely by her name recognition rather than any underlying utility. Crypto Twitter lit up. Fans celebrated paper gains. Critics immediately raised eyebrows. Several blockchain analysts pointed out red flags: concentrated wallet ownership, unclear tokenomics, and no transparent roadmap. Still, momentum carried it forward, briefly. For a moment, it looked like Hailey had successfully converted meme fame into a new digital revenue stream. But meme coins are fragile by design. When hype fades, or when early holders exit, the collapse can be brutal, and by the end of 2024, the same virality that launched Hawk would accelerate its downfall. Downfall: scandal, accusations, and legal troubles. The crash came fast. Within weeks of its peak, the SHAWK coin's value plummeted, wiping out significant portions of its market cap. Investors began posting screenshots of losses, some claiming they had lost thousands. Almost immediately, accusations of a rug pull flooded social media. Claims that insiders exited early while regular buyers were left holding worthless tokens. By late 2024, the controversy escalated beyond Twitter threads. Formal complaints were reportedly filed with the SEC, alleging deceptive promotion and failure to disclose risks or insider involvement. While Hailey was not initially named as a primary architect of the coin, her promotional role placed her squarely in the spotlight. Lawsuits followed, including a class action case that would later expand to include her as a defendant by December 2025. Online backlash turned vicious. Comment sections filled with accusations of fraud. Hashtags accusing her of scamming fans trended briefly. More disturbingly, Hailey later revealed she received death threats, forcing her to step back from public appearances and posting. Her early responses were cautious. She denied intentionally misleading anyone, stated she was not involved in the coin's back-end operations, and emphasized that she trusted outside parties who handle the technical side. Critics weren't satisfied. To them, her platform alone implied responsibility. By the end of 2024, the narrative had shifted completely. The Hawk Tuah story was no longer about a funny viral clip. It was about accountability, influencer power, and what happens when internet fame collides with financial speculation. The fallout wasn't just financial. It marked the beginning of Hailey Welch's retreat from the spotlight. The silence after the storm. By early 2025, Hailey Welch all but vanished from the internet. After months of relentless backlash tied to the SHAWK meme coin collapse, her once frequent posts slowed to nothing. No TikToks, no Instagram stories. Talk Tuah episodes stopped appearing. For a creator who had lived almost entirely online since June 2024, the silence was striking. Rumors filled the vacuum. Some speculated the break was legal advice, a standard move when lawsuits and regulatory complaints loom. Others pointed to mental health, citing the scale of harassment she'd faced. Hailey had previously mentioned receiving death threats, and fans noted that the constant scrutiny had visibly worn on her by late 2024. Hailey broke her silence in May and June of 2025, starting with a carefully worded People magazine exclusive that marked her first major statement since going dark. The tone was noticeably different from her early viral interviews, quieter, more deliberate, and openly remorseful. She acknowledged mistakes without deflecting responsibility. While stopping short of admitting legal fault, Hailey expressed regret for promoting something she didn't fully understand. She apologized to fans who lost money, saying she had underestimated the weight of her influence. Talk Tuah resumed with fewer episodes, lower production hype, and a sharper focus on conversation over chaos. Gone were the constant shock clips. In their place were longer discussions about internet culture, accountability, and life after fame. Guest choices reflected the shift. Fewer viral personalities, more creators with experience navigating backlash. Listener numbers were smaller than at the peak, but engagement was steadier and more supportive. Outside the podcast, Hailey explored safer ventures. She promoted exclusive fan content through fanfics, avoiding the controversy-heavy platforms she'd once publicly declined. She also hinted at interest in acting and hosting, spaces where she could operate within clearer professional boundaries. As of December 2025, her online presence remains limited, but intentional. Comments are moderated. And that's all, folks. What do you think of Hailey Welch? Let me know down below. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.